What's up, guys? Welcome to Life Knowledge. My name is Justin Alphabet. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below. Today we're going to be talking about what it takes to be a leader. Thank you guys for watching today. Stay to the end of the video so you get all the information that you need. Today we're going to be talking about what it takes to be a leader. And it's not super complicated, but it does take a couple of steps and things. And what it takes to be a good leader versus a bad leader are, kind of different. But there's two kinds of leaders, right? There's kings and then there's captains, right? If you are like a king or whatever, you will lead differently than you will a captain. If you're a boss of a company, you'll lead differently than a manager, right? And if you're running a company, right, like a manager is different than a boss. They're on different levels, right? A captain is different than a king on different levels. They're just different titles, right? But the king is obviously the head man and the guy in charge and the boss. The captain is obviously a head man of a smaller group or a manager of a small group. He does a different function. And so both are leaders, right? Both lead people. The captain leads men into battle. The king sometimes leads men into battle. The boss leads into battle sometimes, and the manager definitely leads into battle daily. So the difference here, though, is how a person leads. A boss's job, a king's job, is to make sure every manager in his army or his workforce is getting all of the supplies they need, getting all the information they need, making sure everything runs smoothly, and kind of getting out of the way of the army, just telling them to go in a direction and charge, right? That's kind of the king's job. The king is the spearhead. Like, he tells people, here's the direction we're going, and this is how we do it, right? The manager, his job is to tell his men, his group, his squadron, his workforce, the smaller workforce, his team, to do what the king says and how to do it in detail, like how to, better enforce that. And so both are, like I said, both are leaders. Both have to lead men, or women, right? Both have to, in the workforce, both men and women. In war, both men and women sometimes. But the point being is that you have to be a specific kind of leader for specific things. So right now, you have to choose, are you a king or a manager, right? If you have a company, if you're a business owner, are you the boss or a manager? What do you want to be? That will determine your future exponentially, because you will lead in different kinds of ways. So first off, as a manager has to lead by example. A manager is literally on the front lines with his workforce, with his teammates, his coworkers, his soldiers, right? As a captain, you're leading your soldiers into battle every day. It's your job to ensure their safety. It's your job to communicate effectively. It's your job to make sure that they get home safely to their families. It's your job to make sure that they make money, or do the function that they're given, or do the function that they're supposed to do in a given workplace at their job, right? It's your job to make sure that you put people in specific positions for their strengths. If you have someone who's really good at flipping burgers, you put them on the burger table. If you have someone who's really good at tossing French fries, then you put them by the fries. If you have someone who's really good at sales, you put them on the front counter or in the drive-through of the store. If it's a restaurant, right? If you have someone who's really in military warfare, if you have someone who's good with a spear, you have them hold the spear. If you have someone who's good with an axe, you have them hold the axe. If you have someone who's good with a sword, you have them hold the sword, right? Like, you don't force someone who's good with the sword to hold an axe. You don't force someone who's good with a axe to hold a spear, right? Because everyone has their own strengths. Everyone has a different thing. Everyone has their own, specialty, right? Not everybody's the same, and so play to people's strengths. That's what a manager does. You notice people's strengths and you have them do those specific things. You keep your eyes open for those kind of things and help people do that, daily. And you do have people try other things. If things aren't working the way they're supposed to, if you're losing the battle and you're not doing the function that you guys are supposed to be doing, then switching things up can, help that out. And that's why one of the most important leadership responsibilities in a captain's position or a manager's position is adaptability. The king doesn't necessarily see the daily, grind or the daily problems or obstacles, but a manager does. If you're at your job and your printers all, go out in one day, it's the manager's job to make sure, and responsibility to make sure to adapt to that situation, to, kind of fix that problem and make sure that you either get somebody to fix it or you fix it yourself, or you have someone on your team fix it who's good at fixing these specific problems. Delegating these problems obviously is a helpful thing, but that's more of a king's job. And so we'll get into the king/boss position now. But adaptability is very important as a manager. That could be the one leadership quality that is the most important. The boss, he's not as adaptable. He still has his one goal. It's his responsibility to maintain that firm, expectation that this war will be fought, this battle will be fought, and we will win. If he adapts, constantly and changes his mind about okay, we're going to, not fight this battle. Like, for example, if you're a car salesman and you decide all of a sudden to sell, My Little Pony toys at your car salesman lot, people will be so confused. Like, you can't be constantly adapting and changing too quickly, right? Your job is to be a car salesman if that's what you have chosen in the battle that you've chosen to fight as a king or a boss, right? So the boss is, like I said, the boss is like a king, and his job is to point the sword in the direction of the enemy and yell charge. And obviously he can fight, he has a sword. And a lot of, kings of old would fight with their men. They wouldn't hold back, but they would have a team around them to help them and protect them from, side forces, and they would set themselves up for success. And if you think about a chessboard, if you think about the king doesn't move very quickly. He can only move one square at a time, but all the other pieces on the board of the chessboard are there because of the king, right? The king's job is influence. The king's job is power through influence. He has all the knights and the bishops and the rooks and the pawns, right? All of those, he's banded this team together, right? He's brought all these people together to fight a common enemy. And that's what a king's job is to do, is to band people together to fight a common enemy. It's kind of a different game than, being on the field and doing the battle. A king can do that, but it typically is more detrimental when the king gets involved. It's better that the king stays in one place and the king or boss, doesn't put himself in the way of danger. It can clog things up. And if you can imagine, like, in a workplace setting, the main boss is working on, if the main boss is on the front lines on the cash register or something like that, that takes away from his time to be able to determine a direction of the company, right? If car sales are not being met and he needs to adjust things on a higher level or get more cars to his people to sell them, but he's on the front lines on the cash register, it's going to clog up the whole process. He can't make decisions for, the group. He can't be pointing in the right directions to charge if he's not, doing his job. And his job specifically is logistics. A king, his job is to kind of survey the whole battle sometimes and to say, like, we need more men over here. We need more men over here. We need more men over here. We need to, do this. We need to go this way. We need to, flank them. We need to go around this side. We need to, go this way. We need to charge straight forward, etc. It's the king's job and position to determine those things so that his men make it home safely and don't die as much as possible, or make as much money and, as a boss, and do their job and make it to the place that they're supposed to go and get what they're supposed to get out of that workforce experience. So a king's job is logistics, and obviously a manager's job is adaptability to those logistics. And both are leadership positions. So apply that to yourself and choose right now. Do you want to be a manager, or do you want to be a boss? So anyways, thank you guys for watching today. Hopefully this helps you determine, the value of your leadership and help you understand a little bit more on, what type of leadership you are currently doing and what you want to get to. Most managers want to become a boss, and so it's hard to determine the difference between the two and pivot yourself to that mindset of the logistics versus, the adaptability. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have the day you deserve. Let's level up, and I'll see you in the next one.